Hello everyone. Welcome to DanceBiker Discussions for a Wednesday night, to see if anybody's about. Just got a few things to talk about today. First of all, DIY motorbike fixing or motorbike repair, maintenance, that kind of stuff. I don't know if you've got any experience of this yourselves. For me, it's kind of like a necessity because don't have a lot of money, so if something needs fixed on my motorbike, I need to sort of do that myself really most of the time. At the moment, my bike is off the road. I haven't used it for a while, so I need to sort out the rear brake before I can get it MOT'd because the rear brake was completely seized. The piston was seized, and I was trying to use a tool and stuff. I was trying to free that up, trying to get that sorted out. Nothing was working, so I thought I know what I'll do. I'll just have to drain all the brake fluid and take it off completely, and then see if I can force it out. Unfortunately, when I put on opened up the little bleed valve and stuff, so I could sort of pump it to sort of start getting some of the brake fluid out, it just was doing nothing. It was just sort of thinking, right, okay, I think this master cylinder at the back here is broken. That's probably why it's not moving. Because usually, you can pump the brake, it should push the piston out. There's usually enough pressure for it to start moving. It was doing nothing. I'd compressed it to put in new brake pads, and then it just wouldn't come out again. So right, that's broken. So got the whole part from eBay for 55 quid. Everything from the reservoir, the pipe down to the little cylinder thing, the whole bit. Second hand, 55 quid for jobs are good. I don't know about your experience, but whenever I go to do something, I just went out this evening to work on it a little bit. It never goes as smoothly as you think it's going to do. It might think, oh, this job will take an hour and a half, or this job will take 2 hours. No. It should, but there's always a part, isn't there? There's always a part that's seized. There's always a part where you need to, I don't know, hacksaw something off to get it off. It just, yeah. So I'm having that kind of experience again with this every time. Obviously, I haven't injured my hand yet either, so it's not a proper fix until you've usually at least got at least one injury on your hands. But yeah, I'll see how that goes. But that's the plan. Plan is there's a couple of little things I need to just sort of fix up a little bit, and then I'll be able to get it re-MOT'd, and hopefully it should pass, and then yeah, it's good to go. It's still insured. I just need to re-MOT it and then just tax it. So yeah, that's my experience with fixing bikes. It never goes to plan. So usually, even if every single bolt comes off easily, there's usually at least one that needs either a modified tool or a blowtorch on it or something to get it moving. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I always feel a bit uneasy if I do work on a bike or a car and something actually works as it should. I kind of think, what's wrong? What have I missed? There's usually at least some kind of snag. Yeah, like what was it now? The track rod end on my wife's car. When I changed that, man, that was a nightmare to get off. All the other yeah. In fact, yeah, I did all the brakes. Absolutely, on that one, almost every single nut and bolt gave me chip. Man, that took a whole day. Yeah, what's your experience? Maybe you have better luck than me. I mean, I usually get there in the end. Most things I can usually do. Most things I can usually fix. I mean, stuff to do with the engine, like complex stuff, I'll not touch. But like you're talking about stuff to do with brakes and things like that, yeah, sure. What have I done before in the cars? Changing the power steering pump, alternators. Rocker head gasket. I'll have a go at most things, to be honest. But yeah, again, it's only what I've got the tools for. The bits I really hate is stuff that's under the car because I haven't got like a lift or anything. So I really hate that because you're on your back usually looking up stuff trying to fall on your face, and then like my neck really knacks after that kind of a job. The bike's a lot easier to work on and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's the plan. Hopefully in the next sort of week or two, because I've got a friend who has he actually won from a competition a really nice 90s bike. It's worth about 5 or 6 grand or something. I think it was one of these things where you buy a raffle ticket for 20 quid or whatever, and loads of people do it. And he wasn't expecting obviously to win, but he won it. He wants to go out for a ride sometime. That'd be great. I've not gone out for a ride with him. So yeah, I need to get my backsliding gear, get the rear brake fixed, get it MOT'd, and then that way it'll be ready for when he's ready. We can go ride somewhere, have a coffee or something. So what else to talk about? Ricky Gervais. If any of you are Ricky Gervais fans, I find him hilarious. Even though I disagree with him on some stuff, I find sometimes he gets a little bit preachy with his sort of atheism and stuff, and knocks certain groups. But I don't mind, it's all in jest. But his new Netflix thing just came out the other day, so I was like, oh yeah, I should watch that. So I watched that with my wife last night. He didn't disappoint. It was hilarious. I could just tell as well his jokes is going to rub up loads of people the wrong way, and cause a load of outrage to people that are easily offended. But it's comedy. I found it hilarious. So yeah, Ricky Gervais. If you've got Netflix and like Ricky Gervais, check it out. I found it really good. So there's that. The other thing. Again, I was just checking in on what was going on with the Johnny Depp trial today. It was quite funny. Amber Heard's team sort of got BTFO'd a lot today. Where was it? Like there was one thing where she'd said something about how the reason she punched Johnny at the top of the stairs was because she was worried she was going to get thrown down the stairs, or her sister was going to get thrown down the stairs, like what happened to Kate Moss. And so I was like, what? So they actually got Kate Moss to go on video link. Briefly was testifying, and she was like, yeah, that didn't happen. She was explaining about how the fact that when there was some wet stairs, Johnny was in front of her, went downstairs, and when she went to follow, like a couple of minutes later, she slipped and injured herself, hurt herself on the stairs, and he came and helped her, picked her up and looked after her. So basically said, yeah, Amber's story about that is complete nonsense. That was quite interesting. There was another one. There's a media thing called TMZ. And she testified that when she went to get this restraining order thing that she did just before she was divorcing Johnny, that she tried to keep it low profile and tried to just go in there without being, when she came out there was all these paparazzi there, and then it turns out that TMZ were tipped off. They'd been given a tip off, but it looks like it was basically Amber Heard's people that had sort of said, come and take these photographs. So it's just a lot of stuff that's basically just discrediting everything that she said, making out that she's not very truthful, not very reliable in terms of the things she's saying. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Again, if you're not into that, apologies. I'm finding it an interesting trial to keep an eye on. So I'll probably say just a couple of things about that on my live streams. So yeah, it's Ricky Gervais, Kate Moss, TMZ. Motorbike, fixing that motorbike. I really hope this part works, this rear brake assembly works, because it's nothing ever just goes easily. Like I say, I've still got a couple of things I'm going to have to hacksaw off and butcher a bit to get out, so I can swap the whole rear brake assembly, and then hopefully, if that works, then something with the front fork seal is a little bit cracked and stuff. I'm going to use some sort of rubber glue to just make it a little bit tidier, ready for its MOT. But I always hate MOTs. It's always like, please pass. Really please. Especially because it's been out of MOT for a while now, just in the backyard, just sawned. If I've got any viewers from America, no, I'm not going to. Actually, no, I'm not going to go into what sawned means. Yeah, if you bothered, you can look it up. So, any questions from anybody watching? Got anything you want to say in the chat, and I'll talk about. And while I'm doing that, I'll just while I'm waiting on that, I will have a little look and see what's going on with the news. Smart homes, no thanks. If you've seen in my previous live streams, you might have seen me having a little bit of a rant about smart meters and how I think they're a bad idea. Yeah, what's going on then? Google brings Street View to history to found. What? I think they've already got it, haven't they? Oh, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, Depp versus Heard. Kate Moss says, actor never pushed me, kicked me, or threw me down the stairs. Yep. Just what we were expecting. Oh look, Ricky Gervais. I was just talking about him. And defends telling taboo jokes. Yeah. What I like about Ricky, what I really like about Ricky, is he just doesn't care, and he's made enough money, he's rich enough, he jokes about it, and I love that. I love that because he can just be himself and be honest and just say and just joke about what he wants to joke about without fear of being cancelled. He's like, I don't care. Like, one of his best things, I don't know if you saw it, that Golden Globes award thing where he was roasting all the celebrities. I absolutely loved that. It was one of that was one of my favourite things of his. I can't remember, was it the 2020 Golden Globes? I think it was like early in the year 2020. I think that was the one. That was one of the best. He's done it a few times, but the way he roasts celebs is just fantastic. Sport, yeah, football. I don't really know much about that. Science live coverage. Boeing Starliner capsule returning to Earth today. Oh, sounds like it's gone already. Was it successful? Hopefully. Undocks from the ISS. Okay, so it sounds like the Boeing one has worked. So it sounds like they've got one under their belt. They're, like I say, they're a bit behind Elon Musk, but you know, I think theirs was more expensive as well, wasn't it? But yeah, Boeing. But as long as it worked and everybody's fine, that's the main thing. Dragon of Death, ancient flying reptile, is unearthed in Argentina. Now this is an interesting subject. An interesting subject for me. There's so many myths and legends about things like dragons, and people just think, oh yeah, dragons don't exist. But was there such a creature like it in the past? If it's in so many different cultures and things, maybe. I have certain views about the Earth and the age of the Earth and different creatures. I'll not go into the specifics, but could there have been such type of creatures? Maybe, kind of. Yeah. Okay. I'll not go into that, but let's see what the article is though. It says something about Argentina, is it? A huge ancient cookies every time. Yeah, whatever. Huge ancient flying reptile as long as a school bus lived alongside dinosaurs 86 million years ago. This is where I would come with my disputes. 86 million years ago. I don't think so. No. See, we know from science, we know the decay rates of soft tissues, blood, hemoglobin, all that kind of stuff. And if you look into, I think it was 2013, some dinosaur fossils that were, somebody was doing some work on and dissolving some stuff in acid, and they found soft tissue, blood vessels, things like that. We know that isn't scientifically possible if it's like a million years old plus or anything even near it, because we know the decay rates. So they tried to get around that. They were like, this doesn't make sense. It can't possibly be. I think that one was like 50 odd million years old, allegedly. And they were like, this couldn't possibly be correct. How has this happened? So they have to come up with a theory that fits their presumption of the age, that the age is correct. So they came up with this thing about how, like, oh, maybe if it was preserved in high iron content, that might work and preserve it for longer. So with that they span loads of centrifuges to concentrate iron and stuff like that to try and make it feasible. It's like, but that's irrelevant because they weren't the conditions that the fossil was in. It wasn't like millions of years ago there was centrifuges like creating loads of iron to pack around this corpse of this dinosaur so that it would preserve like this stuff as well. It just didn't happen. So nobody wants to look at the other option and be open-minded enough to think, what if we're wrong about the ages of these things? What if they're not as old as we've been led to believe they are? What if our dating methods are incorrect? Now, that makes me sound like a crazy person to a lot of people, but the aging processes all that are used are based on assumptions, and they're wildly inaccurate. Even the carbon dating, which would only go to maximum allegedly 50 to 100,000 years max, and then everything over that you can't get the carbon C14 in. It just doesn't work. I'm sure there was like a woolly mammoth where they took two different samples from different parts of it, like a leg and a bit of a stomach or whatever. And the dating came up with things that were like tens of thousands of years different to each other from the same animal. It's like it's clearly not accurate. They've never been accurate, particularly the stone ones. Um, but yeah, that's the subject for another day. Maybe that's a really deep subject. But people are just told something about oh yeah, we dated this rock to X million years old, and everyone just goes, oh yeah, 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 and just takes it as a given. And I'm more analytical than that. I'm like, is it? What proof? Based on what? And okay, this dating method you've used, what assumptions have you thrown into that? Um, you know, you get all this thing like the theory of evolution is that millions of years ago it rained for like 2 million years solid or something and created this liquidy soup, this primordial soup from which life began. It's like you can't tell me what the weather's going to be like next week that accurately. You think you're saying it rained for 2 million years? What evidence do you have for that? When is it? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Uh, don't get me into that subject. But yeah, I'm just very skeptical of the stuff that is taught. Um, I mean, I used to be basically a believer in evolution. Used to be sort of atheist, I suppose. That's how I was brought up. Um, uh, was into science. That's what was taught at school. Went into things a bit more deeply at college. Um, and then the more I questioned things, the more I thought, this doesn't add up. I don't actually think this is what happened. Um, let's just say we'll just leave it there for now. I'll not give my whole story on that, but yeah, question everything. If you can't question it, it's no longer science. Um, so yeah, that's why lately was it one of these sayings about trust the science. That's an unscientific thing to say. If you can't question it, it's not science. That's the whole point. But anyway, I quite like science. Quite a fan of it. But it leads me to a different place where people would expect. Um, it leads me more towards creationism um, than the the theories that most people regard science would put you towards. Um, and that could be a great debate if people are honest and open and just having a chat. I don't like it when people get snippety at each other and dogmatically no, this is the way, atheism and Big Bang blah blah blah, or equally the other way. Um, it's better to just discuss why we think a certain thing is most feasible or most probable, and give our reasons why. It's much more civil. But those kind of talks and debates usually end up, unfortunately, being a bit too polarized. Um, but yeah, if you've got any thoughts on that, leave them in the comments. But yeah, that's why I just thought this was interesting. This Dragon of Death. But if they're saying alongside dinosaurs 86 million years ago, they're not just saying it's a different type of dinosaur, effectively. Let's see. So it's about 9 meters long. South America. Experts said the beast would likely have been a frightening sight. Yeah, I can imagine. Unless your name's St. George, and then you wouldn't be scared of it. Interesting. Interesting story. Anyway, that's something a little bit different. What else have we got? NASA snaps eruption underwater volcano home to mutant sharks. I saw a program about the oceans. It's fascinating. We still know more about. Was it they say that we know more about the surface of the moon than we do about the depths of our oceans? What was that? I called it 10 minutes or something. It might have been an Attenborough thing, and it was really deep down sort of filming in the ocean, and there was this bit where there was like a sort of a brine kind of lake right near the bottom where it was a really salty bit, and it just looks extraordinary because it looks like the way the photography is with the lights. the bit that is ocean looks like air in a way, and the briny bit looks like a lake. And you got these weird sort of worm creatures sort of going in, dipping in and out. And one of them was in the salty brine bit too much, and it was like having sort of like toxic kind of shock. It went into shock and it was all contorting and stuff. And then it managed to break out of it and swim off. And then the imagery was just stunning. And it's fascinating. It's almost like another worldly kind of feel to it. Yeah, even though it's just the bottom of our oceans. I remember years ago, probably it was about 10 years ago or something, when the first time they could put certain cameras so deep, because they'd made the technology that would take the pressure, and they did like time-lapse photos with light, and they captured sort of creatures that they didn't know existed before, like this weird kind of centipede type thing going across the seabed and things like that. It's fascinating stuff. There's probably all sorts in the ocean we've got no idea about. So who knows? Nessie could be real. Although I think Nessie would be quite old now. Might have died of old age. But yeah. Nessie, Leviathan, who knows? Although I think Leviathan's more figurative of. No, I'll not get too into that right now. Right, let me just clear that. I think I will leave that for tonight. Let's see, have I got any questions? No, not yet. Looks like a couple of people dipped into the live stream actually live, but didn't say anything. What am I on? It's coming up for 22 minutes nearly of rambling. I think that might do for tonight. I've got some stuff to do. It's getting quite late. So yeah, cheers to you. It's your I nearly said Tuesday, but it's Wednesday, isn't it? The week is going fast. It's going fast. Right, have a great week. I will catch you whenever I get a chance to do more live streams. But yeah, have a great Wednesday night, everyone, and I'll catch you all later. Bye.